Good afternoon, partners. This is Sherman Krancer, Senior Partner Channel Development Manager for the Western United States. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great call for you today. I think you're going to find that after you see this, you might want to rewind it and take a look at it. We've got a lot of information. We're going to be talking about, 10 steps to drive big sales and revenue using Office 365 as the primer. We have a great special guest coming on here. We also have a new edition. We kind of tested it out last month, and we're going to redo it. It's a little bit of whiteboarding, and we'll kind of go into that, but it's going to be a fantastic call, and thanks so much. Now, remember, you got to register every single week for this call, and that's typically at aka.ms/PLG-Reg. All right, so let's move into the agenda for today. So we always start out with thought leadership because we want to help you, we want to help inspire you to be great. Next, we have a special guest, Manish Bardia, who has been in MCC for quite a long time. And I was thrilled to get a message for him the other day saying, gosh, Sherman, my phone, it doesn't stop ringing now. And it's just like, wow, it's awesome to think that. Then we're going to we have Justin Slagle in the house, and we're basically going to do some breaking down a partner's business. We're going to do brainstorming with Justin Slagle. Then we'll actually get into the package of the week, and then go into the 10 steps. And they're very specific. And then lastly, we're going to wrap it up with some, questions, business discovery questions to help you when you're going out there and selling Office 365. All right, so let's get into the thought leadership portion of it here. I think every week I think about what I'm going to talk about and what's pertinent to partners that I'm trying to help influence. And I think the topic for this week is really going to be related around strategy. Now, when you're talking about strategy, we're not talking about a wartime strategy or something that you played on Risk or Monopoly, but in essence, it does have a little bit of similarities. So, strategy, in the way that I'm thinking about it, is really about planning for your future, planning for what's next down the road. I think that we have many partners on the call, not on the call, in our ecosystem, outside of our ecosystem, that are doing day-to-day business kind of in a shotgun approach or more of a reactive type of approach. And they're doing so many things. They're wearing so many different hats, right? But what we found, and I was, I had a issue with this in the very beginning when I was starting my business, is you do so many different things that you forget to plan. You forget to plan and how you're going to grow your business and set milestones. And that's really what it's about. It's about planning. It's about putting together a plan that says, okay, today I am here. My revenue is here today, but it's going to be here tomorrow and next year and 2, 3, 4 years out. That's what's super important, is being able to put together a plan where you have milestones and you can actually track them. I think a lot of partners, talk about what they're going to do and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to plan. But you have to ask yourself this next question, and this is going to tell whether you're actually helping your business move forward, or are you just being a reactive, hey, let me get a sale or not. But ask yourself, how many hours a week do you plan, or how many hours a month do you plan, trying to figure out about tomorrow? I would suggest that you put at least 2 to 5 hours a week thinking about tomorrow. We talk about doing sales and marketing motions 8 hours a day. I know none of you want to do that, and that's okay. But the thing is, you have to put in 3 or 4 hours a day into sales and marketing, but also work on your business, okay? And working on your business does not mean just reacting to calls that are coming in, or feeling like you're productive because you are on your emails and you're triaging all day long, but that isn't. So you need to take a step back and actually ask yourself that question, how many hours are you working on it? And if you're not working on it, now it's time to actually start planning. This is the time where you said, okay, you're drawing the line in the sand, you're saying, I'm gonna make this business that I'm running, that I'm in, huge. We're going to make it big. The next bullet point that I put up here is really, are people lucky? And I was talking to Justin, who's going to be on here later on, and we were talking about a big deal that had come in. It was this monster deal. And we were talking about luck, and some people could think that that's luck, but that really isn't luck. What that is it's the ability of creating your own luck through proper planning and proper strategic, resources that are in place to help you get into opportunities that other people are not in. And those are the opportunities that the people who are not planning on their business, that are just doing reactive type of triage to their business, are not getting. So are people just lucky? Well, I think maybe the person who won the last lotto, the $700 million, yeah, that person's lucky. But if you're in business, you can create your own luck. And you do that by proper planning. I always say this every week, dreamers talk about what they're going to do, but leaders do what they talk about. I subscribe to that, and I think you should too. And lastly, every week, we're starting on Monday, just do it. If you're going to think about it and procrastinate, I ask you to stop and actually take a step back and say, I'm going to just go ahead and do it. All right, so let's get into our guest of the week, a special, great friend of mine, Manish Bhartia. He's from Adept Tech. We are lacking his picture today, but he's a titan in the industry. That's what I would like to describe him. He's been in Microsoft Community Connections for quite a long time, and really brings some great stuff. So we have some extensive questions that are really going to help the partners understand, how it is to be successful MCC, and some advice for you. So Manish, hey, could you possibly introduce yourself and just kind of give us quick, thoughts about your company, what your company is and what you do?
Yes, Sherman, thank you for having me here. I'm with Adept Tech. We focus on business productivity with the use of cloud technologies, mainly Microsoft Office 365, Dynamics 365, Power BI, and Project Online. And we have been in the industry for actually programming mostly, but with the rise of the cloud, we have adopted ourselves and focused more on how to best utilize the cloud technologies for the enterprises. So we are bringing the best use of the cloud for the small team to the mid-sized team.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. You and I, when I was in MCC, we both kind of started a little bit together, and I've seen your business transform. And I think it's just amazing. So, what has been the impact, for Office 365 on your business?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of a coincidence that it was like our second coming on the business restructuring, because initially we were totally focused on custom applications, custom app dev, and were not connected to the cloud. But when I restarted full-time, I was trying to do it part-time for a couple of years, and then 4 years back I restarted full-time on Adept Tech. What happened was I came in contact with IMCP and came in contact with Justin. And I said, I think I don't know how to use cloud. So Office 365 was very new. And Justin said, it's the same kind of technology which you have been using. And here is how you get started. And he gave me the pointers, and we started doing the MCC event that time. So by doing MCC event, actually, I came to know how to use the cloud. And that way, we started our package solution on the Office 365. So first thing is we got introduced to MCC right away when we got introduced to Office 365. And then with the Office 365, we also came to know that how to bring our historical knowledge to the enterprises with the use of cloud. So it was just a coincidence that when the 365 was starting, we also started to plan our new offerings.
That's interesting. So, the first bullet point talks about improving efficiencies. And would you say that's different when you approach clients and people? Is that different than the MSP business? Are you having different types of conversations?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, it's a very different. In fact, when I talk to MSP partners or other companies, I say we start where MSP ends, in the sense MSP is about infrastructure. Of course, there are other companies who do more, but in a basic, it's all about setting up the environment and giving the tools to the users. The thing is, the tools are so vast and so much power it brings with the power of cloud that you need a separate specialty to understand all the tools and how to best utilize these tools. And that's what we are bringing to the table, where we spend time and we already understand these kind of technology like SharePoint and Power BI. So we are bringing a perspective to the clients with the use of these tools that actually MSP may not be bringing or may not be putting time towards. So we bring extra information or the framework to best utilize these tools to improve business productivity within a small team or mid-sized team.
Great. So what were the major turning points? Can you help the audience understand the major turning points that happened to your business?
Yes, definitely. I would like to highlight that when I started my business 8 years back in 2008, I didn't have a clue on how to do selling or how to grow with the use of partnership. I was a technical person. I thought if I get a project and I do good on technical side, I'll automatically get the business. That was wrong. In fact, it almost killed my business in 2 years later, like in 2010. But I was able to survive with some good clients, and they were having some large project going on with me. But then in 2012, I got introduced to IMCP, where I started going. In fact, Justin, I met you there first time, and you were with Quick Start that time. So I saw the power of the group and started going. I was regular, so people started knowing me, and then I got my first referral in 2013, I guess. And I saw, actually with partnering also you can close business, be a good partner, and be someone people can trust, and then you can create business through that also. That actually started more business for me. And then with the help of IMCP and MCC, I have improved my presentation skills or skills to connect to people, which has actually resulted in more business. So it has been a turning point, these two organizations. I would say MCC Program and IMCP has been a turning point for my business.
Great, great. All right, so let's kind of move into thoughts from Manish on MCC. Microsoft Unique Connections is really the base of this whole program, and then Project Lead Gen shows you how to maximize MCC. So how did you get started with MCC?
I think we touched base a little bit on this. I started back when I was trying to do my own events, getting the list and invite people, was not actually going after the association, and was trying to recruit attendance by my own marketing effort. So going to the chambers, inviting people, or email marketing. And that was a big challenge, but that's when I started, and actually by at least doing that, I was getting comfortable in front of the people. So I started hosting monthly events at Microsoft Office or at Chamber. And the topic was mostly Office 365 in the cloud or SharePoint. These were the two topics I was using.
Okay, great. Well, then how are you able to do so many events? I know you and I talk about it. You're doing events all the time, seminars, webinars, all these different things. Can you help the audience understand a little bit more about how you're doing that?
So there are a few areas which I'm very comfortable. After doing many events, those seminars or webinars I'm able to do without much preparation. Yes, of course, we have rehearsed those script, but because it is same, we are able to repeat that every week. So yes, we are doing a lot of events, but the key thing on that is partnering. So there are other partners I'm partnering with, and in the same event, we will have two partners, and we know how to take the slide if you are stronger, and we just have the chemistry where we are able to share the workload before the event, during the event, and after event. So that has been one key thing, where with the partners, I'm able to do more events.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, how do you connect? This is, a lot of partners are probably thinking to themselves, gosh, how do I do this? How do I do these presentations? How do I connect with the audience? Can you kind of give me a little, some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so one of the thing is in an audience, in a group of audience, not everybody will be happy all the time. But whatever is your message, if you just think at least 2 or 3 people, and if you can convey them about your messaging and make sure that they understand your message, then actually your seminar or webinar is a successful seminar. Because as long as you're trying to convince one person or communicate with one person, the message will come out nice. So that's what I try to do, is try to connect with a couple of the audience and then make sure they understand things, and my messaging is simple enough that they get the message. Yes, of course, it could not be that we covered all the answers for their problems, but at least they get an idea of that this could be going in right direction. Then that's it, that you have covered your point to make them aware of new kind of solutions out there, and then they can come to you and discuss and get some consultation.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then lastly, how has MCC helped your business? I think that'd be really great for partners to understand.
Yeah, I think it has at least improved my business. I would say like 30% of my business has been through MCC or partnering. So I would highly recommend anybody using MCC. I mean, without MCC, I would say I will be, my year-over-year growth may be just like negligible, but with MCC, I can see like at least 30% growth every year on my business.
Well, 30% growth. Now that's significant. That isn't like a 2% growth or, hey, I got a lead or not. But I will say that, Manish has stuck through it. He has kept on going. So lastly, let's just go ahead and run through some of these key thoughts. I'm going to let you go ahead and give the advice. You can go ahead and go through these 4 things real quick, and then we're going to be moving into our brainstorming session with Justin.
Okay, thank you, Sherman. So essentially, I mean, very simple message that whatever you are good, when you try to pitch that kind of thing, or when you work in the business where you are attached, your niche is what you really like, it shows. So whatever you like I like being productive. So all the tools, I'm focused on making it more productive for end user, and that shows to my clients. So that is the message, that keep it what you, your niche should be closer to what you like.
Great.
And then,
go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So, and the second is actually Microsoft has been very, they invest so much money in doing the research and upcoming with the trends, that if you listen to the messaging they are trying to communicate, it really helps guide your business. So whatever you are doing, if you are able to keep up with the trend they are trying to preach, it has been helpful. So we have been able to keep up, in the sense we were on the not on a cloud, so we adopted cloud, and with the new changes, Dynamics 365 and all, so we are looking into that. So we are trying to keep up, and that simplifies our strategy on what to do next. Actually, it's already coming from Microsoft, so we follow that. And then there are other successful partners or other successful companies, people which you can be in a company with. So that's what we are doing, is find some strong partnership and learn from them. So that has been very helpful at IMCP and during MCC presentations. And then finally, Sherman, you started that, and use of video, like Office Mix or just a simple messaging with a smartphone video, keeping the messaging simple for not only your customers, for your partners also, because actually I have lost some business last year by not using this, because some of the partners were like, hey, what do you do exactly? How do I sell your services? So then I realized, okay, I understand, maybe you know what I do, but you don't know how to resell for me. So that is the one thing I'll be focusing this year. So that is my message here.
Awesome. I love it. I think video is the way to go. How-to videos, putting on your website. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so let's move into brainstorming with Justin Slagle. We are so lucky to have him again here. He's a senior PCDM, Partner Channel Development Manager here for the Western region. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Justin. Justin?
All right, thanks, Sherman. So we tried this last, I want to say last week, but it's been a few weeks with the holidays. And so we're going to bring this back. We're going to do some brainstorming here on the whiteboard. And Manish, thanks for being here with us, and we're going to use you this week. But let me just start with a couple of quick overview questions. We're going to try to do like a day's worth of planning here in about 8 to 10 minutes. So let's just start with what are some of your goals for net new revenue that you're going to have for this next 2017?
So we are at $500,000, and we want to reach $1 million or $2 million in revenue this year.
So you're at $500,000 now, and you want to get to 2 million.
Yes.
2 to 2.5 million.
2 is good.
Let's take 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get to 2 million. So that means that we've got a difference with delta we have to make up of 1.5 million. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, great. So let's take a look and go a little bit deeper in this. So at $1.5 million, what are the products and services that you're going to be offering to make up this $1.5 million?
Pretty much actually 4 products. We have Office 365 SharePoint online, so intranet. So SharePoint Intranet is first product. Okay. Project Online package is another one. Power BI is the third one.
Tell me the second one again.
Second one is Project Online. So it's like a project management system on the cloud. Let's call it, they call it a PPM, like project and portfolio management.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So when you're selling these projects, it's both software and services, if we take an average customer, because I assume you're doing these same things now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're doing these same things now. When you have your average customer, what's the average ticket size that you have?
For the SharePoint Online, I would say average will be around 10,000.
Okay, and for the others?
For the project, it is 20,000, okay. And BI will be also like 20,000.
Okay, so if we took an average of all, could we say, do you do more of the Power BI and project, or do you do more SharePoint? And can we use an average of maybe 15 or 17,000?
Right, we do more on the SharePoint, and okay. So SharePoint is like around 60% and 20% on Power BI and Project Online.
So maybe 12,000 would be a better number then. Is that fair?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Perfect. So let's so 12,000 per customer. Okay, so now we have a general idea, and let's add some profitability here. What would you say your average margin at the end of the year, total margin your company is going to make on this $12,000 engagement? What are your goals?
We try to hit the goal of 30% at least. So that's the profitability we are looking for.
Okay, perfect. So so we've got some good numbers here to work with. So if we're trying to grow, we said 1.5 million. If we're doing $12,000 a ticket, we're going to have to do a lot of customers. So we've got 1.5 million. Okay, we're going to divide this by what would we say, 12,000. So let's do some quick math here. So we've got somebody do some math for me.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Pull up a calculator, I think, on this.
Yeah, divided by 12,000. 125 customers.
125 customers.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So now that might sound like that's a lot of customers, right? 125 customers. But if we break this down a little bit more reasonable, we can actually take this down another step. And we say, okay, well, there's 52 weeks in a year. We're just going to do simple math, just kind of break it down. So this is going to be like let's call it 2.2 per week.
Got it.
2.2 customers per week. If we add the revenue back in here, $12,000, we're looking at about $30,000 a week. Okay, so now, does that seem a little bit more attainable? 2.2 customers, let's call it 2 customers a week, $30,000 of revenue. Is that kind of attainable for you?
Yeah, I mean, that is, I mean, we will have to ramp up our the resource bench, but we can handle that. Yeah.
Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to look at, okay, if we're going to acquire 2.2 customers a week, what types of programs do we have to put in place to get there? So that's going to be our next step. Okay. So let's just say 2 customers. So we need 2 customers. 2 customers a week. What are some programs that you're going to put in place for your company to help you acquire 2 customers?
Yeah, so I think first is like with partners, we can be more proactive on coming up with a joint marketing so they can bring in business. Direct events, we need to do more events. Then, of course, digital marketing like email and web ads. I would say like Bing and Google ads.
Okay.
So these are the three big come, and then of course, yeah, reaching out to our existing customers and then asking for referrals. So I think these are the four comes to my mind.
Okay, good. So let's take a look at this. So you were saying first be proactive with customers. So tell me what that means to you. If you're going to be proactive with customers, are you basically going to go back maybe to the customers who you've done SharePoint work for and ask them if there might be an opportunity to work together on something like Power BI?
Absolutely. In fact, this Friday, last Friday actually we completed a SharePoint implementation. Customer is happy, and I already set up a Power BI demo for this Friday. So that is what we have been not doing, but now whether they need a solution or not, at least we are going to do a demo. And this customer is a good example where they may be buying the Power BI.
Perfect. And so with more events, and I know you and I and some others have talked about potentially doing some more events. Tell me how are you going to get more customers by doing more events?
Right. So first of all, the audience or the target audience we need to refine in the sense it has to fit what kind of customer I want to have. So we need to go with different associations or different marketing lists to come up with that kind of audience.
Okay. Yeah, and I think one of the things you and I have talked about is you can either get more people,
yeah,
or you can have better quality events.
Yes.
And so if you're having better quality events and you're doing proper follow-up and you're doing extra things, you might be able to get more customers out of even a smaller audience. So you can go either way with that.
Yes.
Let's talk about digital marketing. You said Bing and Google Ads. I also know, I'm going to put it in here, SEO has been very, very big for you as well. So doing some digital marketing. So
yes,
let's talk about that for a minute. How are you going to acquire customers with digital marketing?
Well, that is the one area which is new to us. So we are trying to get some help there from SEO consultant and do some right SEO on our website and our messaging. Another thing is, I guess, video content will help a lot. So we have not been doing a good job on creating the content from the events we are doing or even the knowledge we have. So we definitely want to capture the audio and video from the events and repurpose that on the website, but at the same time create simple messaging with the use of video.
Right. Okay, perfect. Now, and then lastly, customer references. So let's talk about that. How are you going to get how are you going to get more customers just by asking for referrals?
Yeah, so we have not done a good job on asking for reference. Yes, we have asked for reference sometime, but it has not been a practice which we follow every month or something like that. So we want to do that like every month, maybe like at the end of the month, talk to them and ask for a referral, something like that.
Yeah, I think one of the big things there is just doing it. As Ms. Sherman's saying, just do it. A lot of times, if you just ask somebody for a reference, you can get it. And we can get into later, maybe in a future session, about actually a proper way for asking for a referral. But let's put some extra numbers here. So Manish, there's if you're going to grow $1.5 million, you're going to have to put a little bit of money into some type of campaign. So we've identified 4 different areas here: being proactive with customers, more events, digital marketing, and references and referrals. How much money are you planning on spending this in 2017 on your marketing and getting the word out?
Just have thought more on the SEO yet, but not on others. So I guess getting some number help here will be good for me. On SEO in general, I think the consultants are asking like 2,000 to 3,000 per month on the SEO consultation. So I think that brings it like around 25 to 30,000 on that. But that seems a very big number to me.
Yeah, the numbers always seem big when you're talking about them in annualized numbers.
Okay.
But that's why we're trying to bring them down a little bit. So I mean, if we look at annual, if you're going to grow $1.5 million,
right,
you're going to have to put some investments in there. And maybe a future whiteboarding session we can talk about some of the things that we can do to kind of find out what that number might be. But if you're going to grow $1.5 million, if we look at all of these things, I mean, it might be you might be looking at spending, I mean, even upwards of like $3,000 to $4,000 a week. Put that into an annual number, you might be looking at $200,000.
Okay.
But if you look at $200,000 versus $1.5 million that's coming into your company,
right,
then there's still some profitability. So we have to dig into those numbers a little bit more. But if we take a look, these are the things that we have to do, and all of this to get 2 customers, right? 2 net new customers.
right.
So I think everything from this point forward, you need to start asking yourself, is this activity that I'm doing helping me drive 2 net new customers? If it's not helping you get 2 net new customers, you have to look at, okay, I need to go back to my core 4 ideas. Is this helping me be more proactive with my customers? Is this helping me do more and better quality events? Am I doing things with digital marketing? And am I getting referrals? And then tracking back to see what type of dollar amount that you're getting. So ultimately, we need 2 customers. These are the 4 things that we're going to be doing for 2017, and really hold yourself to it. I think if you do that, you'll have a very successul year. All right, Sherman, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you. So, you know, thank you very much, Justin and Manish. I think that it's eye-opener really to think about, you know, how this all comes together, planning, strategy. A lot of us want to do something, but maybe we don't have the proper tools to even understand how to get there. So this is great. Thank you very much, Justin. I think that was just fantastic. All right, so let's get into some of the meat of the actual presentation here. And what we're going to do is we always have the package of the week, and this is really going to help us with the 10 steps, okay? Because what I want you to do is think about packaging, and I want you to think about high margin type of scenarios where you're no longer thinking about just licensing, right? So we have the package of the week, and this is something that isn't necessarily the opinion of Microsoft and how you want to do it, but it's just more of a way to kind of give a sample. Okay, so we always start off with the MSP Tier 1 services, because I think with the Tier 1, you can offload that, right? You can offload that to a distributor of your choice for between $8 and $20 and $15 per user for Tier 1 services. But what I'd suggest is that now you charge between $30 and $40. That right away, that's starting to put in some serious margin into your package. Next, we want to put Office 365 in there, and we want to put it as software as the focus and not just about licensing. I want to get away from that whole what is this SKU or not, but we want to talk about software as the focus, productivity, collaboration. We want to get away from just doing Exchange. We don't want to be just Exchange jockeys out there just doing that. We want to talk about other things, because if you're not talking about that with your clients, some other partner will, and that's when you end up losing some business. Then you want to talk a little bit, possibly add your telco services in there. If you're not currently a telco reseller, let me know, and I can put you in touch with several different organizations to partner with. But that's a good, nice little bump, 18 or 15 to 21% margins on just adding a data circuit. You know, with adding Skype for Business and all these other applications, you're going to need faster internet. So that's probably a good area to add. You know, automated Office 365 telemetry, security assessment, and assurance. I mean, that's another part of your package that you can put in there. Mobility and multi-factor authentication installation, and possibly maybe a third-party Barracuda Office 365 essentials, and then lastly, training. So this is the package. This kind of gives you an idea. As you can see here in this package, though, I'm not listing Exchange or Business One or E3. I'm not listing what the cost of everything is. You want to have a cost for the total package, okay? Because now you can now have a higher margin type of scenario that's maybe focused for a very specific industry. All right, so taking that, I want you to keep that in the back of your head, because we're going to kind of think about packaging through the 10 specific steps to drive big sales and revenue with Office 365 as a primer. So one, building a package. Step one, okay, this is what we got to do. We need to get away from licensing, okay? Licensing by itself, I was talking to a partner at IMCP meeting last Thursday, and after they're putting their credit card fees and all the things that they needed to do to get the actual business or selling that business, they were making about 8 to 10 cents per license per month. Not a lot in there, right? It all depends on, the distributor that you're working with, what are the margins there. But if you're selling just licensing, it's not going to put you in a position to be very, very successful or very profitable. And that's why we want to help you build a package. Utilize Office 365 and all these great tools as a way to build a productivity package or whatnot. What we want you to do is, if you're having trouble framing this or putting together a package, look up your clients. Find out in your client base of 100 clients, let's say, which ones are grouped in, or what is the biggest group of one particular industry that you have. And the reason why I'm saying this is I'm going to use this step one as a building block for the next 9 steps, okay? What we want you to do is find out, okay, do I have a lot of customers that are in the law vertical, or do I have a lot of customers that are in the medical vertical? And what I'm asking you to do is to find the one that's the biggest group in your thing, because it's 2 things. One, they're your clients, so they're going to be happy to hear you. I hope they're happy to have you give them a call. But number 2, you're going to know some of the things that they're doing. So in order to create a great package, one of the next steps is to call them up and ask them if you could just sit down with them and talk to them about their business, not about IT or fixing printer drivers or reworking their server. Call them and say, hey, can I possibly talk to you about some of the business processes? And then with that, we want you to ask some of these business discovery questions that we're going to be going over at the end of this presentation here on how to how they like to do things. What is that industry in need of? And then lastly, go to whatever that industry that you selected, go to the main website, the national website, and find out what are the business problems that industry is having, and then try to create the package that's going to help them. All right, step 2 is really important. It's understanding margins. Justin was great about talking about margins, but do you actually understand how much you're making for every sale that you're actually in? Manish says, it's $12,000. That's fantastic. 30% margin. I think it came down to $12,000. But what are your margins? As I talked about earlier, they could be pennies on the dollar if you're just selling Office 365 by yourself. And then ask yourself the question, well, what would that if I put it into a package? Now, we talk about it every single week. We say project services, 30% margin. You add MSP services, 45. But if you do packaged IP, you're looking in between 40 or 50 to 60% margins on that. So do you know your margins on what you're selling? Now, what would it be if you're selling a package? Well, I think, once again, like I just said, you're going to be in the much higher bracket. It's not just just SKU-based type of licensing. And the other thing is, you want to differentiate yourself from everybody else. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to lower their price. They're going to loss lead their way into a big market, right? And you're thinking, oh, I'm only going to make $1 per SKU, right? That I'm sitting out there. Well, yeah, but you're not going to if you create something that's going to help you based on margins that you're going to do. Next, you want to have high margin, low activity products that you want to put into your package. They could be like that risk assessment, right? Security assessment. Well, if you have an automated security assessment, something that you could just put onto their system and generate a report every quarter, wow, that's a marginable product that you put into your package that you're not putting a lot of time and effort into, but it's a high margin return on your investment. And then lastly, we want you to put together 3 packages, because not all businesses are created or equal, right? You're going to have your micro business, your small business, your medium-sized business, your corporate account type of business, your enterprise business. Have at least 3 of them, okay? And have them ready to go from A, B, and C, so you can do productivity, silver or bronze, silver, and gold type of package. Super important to build big margins is understanding how those things work. Next, understanding verticals. Step 3 is understanding what a vertical is. And what is a vertical? Well, vertical is really, and this is where kind of MCC and PLG come in. Verticals are industries, right? And it could be the law industry, aerospace industry, retail industry, accounting industry. These are all different industries. And I'm going to give you a tip. And this way I thought about it when I was a partner. I didn't want to do the shotgun approach to building my business. I didn't want to have micro businesses and super big businesses. I didn't want to be everything to everyone. So I decided, okay, where should I go? And I thought, I have a lot of clients that are in the law firm vertical. So, okay, let me go and be there, because why? Those are just lawyers. right? And they all talk about, their different problems, and I can ingratiate myself and I could swim in the pond where the client that I'm looking for is actually swimming themselves, right? And that's why verticals are so important. The next thing is really about, targeting industry specific type of deals, because you're no longer in a situation where you have to have a menu of 300 different things that you provide your clients, right? Everyone's different. No, let's standardize your packaging to be standardized for a specific industry, which will then help you create higher margins because you'll have lower cost to actually service your clients. Easy way to do it is go ahead and search on Bing and just put in industries. You can do industry verticals on Bing and you can get the whole list. There's about 36 different industries. Pick a few and then go to their national website. So, and then lastly, we always, part of the training here with Project Lead Gen is always, you can go to guidestar.org. And it's a great resource to find out about an association. Remember, you want to be dealing with 501c6 organizations, not C3, because C6s are business organizations. Lastly, pick 3 verticals you want to get into. You'll have plenty of opportunities to work within that industry. Step 4. Be a feature set guru. I think too many partners today are focused on Exchange, Office 365 Exchange. And it's funny, when I came on board, I was talking with my general manager, Eugene Chi, and we were talking, and it was like we were miscommunicating because Eugene was like, well, it's just mail. And I was like, well, no, it's just software. But I didn't even know, I didn't focus on email at all. It was really what I was selling was about, the features of the software tools and all these things that you could get. Now, what I would suggest as a partner is that you should try to become an expert at these products and services. If you're utilizing Microsoft Word and Excel and PowerPoint, well, you should be abreast of all of the latest information that's coming out. You should be testing it, but then you should be showing this to your clients. You should be putting, testimonials in Office Mix, that could show your clients, let's say, how to be more productive in Outlook, or how to be more productive in PowerPoint, or 5 steps to utilize Word and Adobe PDFs so you no longer have to pay for another PDF conversion. Some of these things. So if you become a feature set guru and walk into an organization and you say, hey, I know it's about Exchange and I know it's about Office 3, the getting software, but hey, did you know about Office Mix? Hey, did you know about how we can do, a featured inbox in Outlook? Do you know how we can schedule? Have you heard about Find Time? Have you heard about Meeting Planner, or all these different features that separates you from the rest of the partners that are out there? There's other partners out there that are still focused on, managed services, but today, with everything evolving so quickly, okay, you being on top and on that top of the edge really is going to separate yourself from other people. Next, demos, future clients, demos. Best way to increase sales quickly. Call up a bunch of your clients, invite them in, say, hey, we're just going to do a demo this year or this week. We're going to do 1 hour. We're going to get you to do a whole bunch of demos on Office 365, blah, 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 and get them in. Show them, do it for free. Don't charge them for that demo, because what it's doing is helping you show how important you are to their business, as well as showing them that you're a thought leader and an expert in your industry. And then lastly, CIE. If you don't know what CIE is, the Customer Immersion Experience Program here at Microsoft. It is an absolutely phenomenal program. It basically teaches you on how to present on the problems associated with current customers who have yet to adopt Office 365. It turns you into a great presenter on those types of things. I think it's probably imperative that you have that along with MCC. All right, so let's move into step 5, productivity and efficiency. Okay, now this is the 5th step, is you want to move away, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, is move away from just selling Exchange and move away from selling just the SKU. The money isn't there. Let's just be honest, it's not. You're not going to make enough money to run your business. Let's figure out how we can focus on the productivity and collaboration pieces of Office 365, right? What can you do to help them reduce travel and expenses? What can you do to help them be more collaborative, right? How do they share files? All these different ideas that are talking about productivity and efficiency will help you drive more sales and revenue. Also, will keep you away from talking about price. The worst thing you can do is when you talk to a client and say, hey, tell me about Office 365, you say, yeah, it's about Exchange, and we'll give you some software, and the cost is X. Right? That's the worst thing you could possibly do. The best thing is to say, yeah, you want to hear about Office 365? Let me show you a couple incredible things that are happening. Let me show you how to reduce T&E. Let me show you how we can collaborate, how people can work on one particular application together, right? Collaborative way, or conferencing, or there's so many different feature sets there, but really focus on productivity and efficiency and helping their business grow. You're going to be a person that's going to help solve some of their problems that they have that might increase their overall, sales and revenue targets, which would then make you an invaluable piece of the team. Step 6, trial subscriptions. And I forget to talk about this all the time, but man, was this a game changer, especially utilizing Microsoft Community Connections. If you do a presentation and there's 20 people who attend your presentation, do you know how many people should get a trial subscription? Manish, how many people do you think should get a trial subscription?
Yeah, all 20.
All 20, yes. Manish and I used to do this a lot. Actually, when we were doing presentations together, right? Is we would get all of their information on an Excel survey. We'd have them do it to do the raffle off. And at the end of the survey, when I got back, what do? We sent them all a trial. And why did we do that? Well, because we want to give them an opportunity to check it out. But the most important thing about selling trial or sending out trials is about calling them after they've opted into the trial and saying, hey, let me help you understand it. Manish, let me ask you a quick question. Do you help your clients, like, kind of give them a little free stuff here and there to kind of let them soak it in, like, what the value is?
Yeah, all the time, because the more they use, the more they realize how much we can help. So absolutely, any questions they have, we are always helping them to understand the features or the latest technology.
That's great. That's great. I think it's so very important, to do that. But it's really important to provide some free help in that first email box migration. You're trying to get them on. When they're on, they'll see all the great things, and then your probability to close the rest of those particular clients is going to increase dramatically. And I kind of keep talking about showing how that feature set and be more collaborative. And I know, Manish, you do it a lot. You do a lot of type of showing your clients how things work. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. All right. Next, step 7. Okay, in these 10 steps. This is the other one that I think is so important because you're part of this. You're part of the MCC program and part of Project Lead Gen, which is all about selling to many and not selling to one. Right? Selling to many. How do you get in front of more people at the, in the shortest amount of time? And that's in seminar selling. If you can get a seminar of 20 people in, okay, into a presentation and then send them the trial subscription and do all those other things we're talking about, your probability to drive or increase sales and revenue goes up significantly. So I think you can use MCC and Project Lead Gen. You can do CIE, which is the Customer Immersion Experience, which is probably one of the most incredible programs that we have here. And then lastly, I think the way that you should think about it is how do you set up for CIE or marketing to many events with your influencers, which are the business organizations that we work with MCC. Imagine if you had 4 per month, right? And you had 20 people per average, that's 80 new potential customers. Then you give them all a trial subscription. And then next, you put them on your drip marketing system because they might not be ready today, but they could be ready tomorrow. They could be ready in a month. And that's what's so important. So think about marketing to many. Stop the shotgun approach. Stop the Google AdWords are great, I think, for initial quick start business, but you have to build a machine that's going to be sustainable. You have to be in a situation like Manish after 1 year, really working it. Now his phone is ringing. 30% of his business is being built off of this whole marketing to many concept. And it's not new, but the approach that we take on how to do it is new. And you really should take advantage of that and really work on marketing to many, not just marketing to one. Step 8. Website check-in. Okay, how many of you have an optimized website as opposed to a stagnant website? And I bet you a lot of people that are on the call are going to be watching this later haven't touched their website in months and maybe years. Manish, I know that you touch your website all the time to make sure it's optimized. Is that correct?
Yes, but there are ways to improve that also. Like we need to add buy the package online without talking to me, like put the credit card and buy the package and then we'll talk. So something like at least a client can check the option, and if they're really ready, they can buy it online as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's what I want to talk to you about here. 90% of all buyers already know what they're going to do when they get to your website. So if your website has 12 tabs, like they started doing in 1996, 12 tabs and all this information, well, it's not optimized for people to buy. So if they're ready to buy, what you need to have on your website is, A, it needs to be mobile ready. Okay, that's absolute number one, because if it's not going to get ranked on the search engines, or it might be really low. You have to have it mobile optimized. But number two, you have to be able to have something very quick and very easy that says, buy here or purchase here, or set an appointment if that's what you're looking for. But you have to have it visible, you have to have it ready, you have to have it available for everyone to do it. Next, on your website, you should have your how-to videos on your splash page. You should have it on the bottom with 5 or 6 ones that are being updated, because you want to establish credibility. Or video testimonials. Next step is to get video testimonials from your clients, because it shows several things. One, you know what you're doing. Two, you have clients that will put on video that they really think that that they believe that you know what you're doing. And 3, it's easy to buy from you. Okay, so that's modernizing your website. If you haven't looked at it, go check at it. You got to work on it. You got to make sure that you're on it to optimize every possibility. And if it is the website from 1996, time to refresh it. Look, there's some great new things that are happening out there with websites, and I really think pictures say a lot these days. I think it's a lot of big pictures with less captioning, and not necessarily, hey, let me give you a description of every potential thing that we could ever think about doing or doing. So think about that. That's step A. Then step 9 is really about creating a scale system. So important. You want to be an expert at what you do, and you want to show that you can be an expert, but you no longer want to be just the local partner here. And I think creating a repeatable process, something that how to install, right? How you know how to provision, how you know how to sell, and the margins, is basically going to help you reduce overhead, right, and increase overall margins with that. You need to become an expert in packaging and deployment. And what I mean by that is have certain things that are ready, to go and deployment, but have it automated, so you no longer have to get into it. And I think you have things like BidTitan and Skykick and different things to help you deploy. And then lastly is really focusing on stuff that you can do not just locally or regionally, but nationally. Too many partners right now have a menu of 4,000 things. However, if you were to focus on 3 packages that may have, let's say, 7 items in it, right? You could become an expert at that, or 5 items. You can become an expert at that, and you can do it over and over and over again and really build your profile in the industry, and you tie that to the industry and the vertical. But you have to create a scale system, and this is part of your strategic planning. If you're not doing that, I mean, I don't know what else, how else you're going to build your business, but this is going to help you put tools in place to build a really great business, creating a scale system. Focus on products that you can scale locally, regionally, and nationally. I think we just talked about that. All right, step 10. Now, this is the thing that, you got to commit to being great, right? I think you need to look around the room or look in your peer group and really, I always do this like self-assessment type of stuff once a week, right? Was I great this week? Did I try hard this week? Did I work harder than my peers? And what's interesting, I got this great piece of advice from a family member, and they were basically saying, well, Sherman, look around the room, and if you can't find, the dolt in the room or the person that's not very intelligent, you might be the person that's the dolt in the room. And you know something, I live by that, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm not that person, that I can set an example. And I think all the partners, if you're on this call today, and if you're here, you really want to change. You're trying to evolve, you're trying to do something. So why don't you commit to being great? And what I mean by that is, stop thinking about what you're going to do. Stop talking about it. Stop telling everybody how big of a business you're going to create. Just do it. Just get up and do it. Start planning, start doing things faster, quicker, more efficient than other people out there. Okay, stop making excuses for the reasons why things can't happen, or the reasons why my business is not growing, or the reasons why Microsoft does X or another company does Y, and why that's hampering your ability. Just put that all aside. Don't let the static bother you. Okay, just get up, be great, be remarkable, do a status check once a week and see if you've done something that's different than everybody else. I have faith in you, and that's why we're here, is to help you do those types of things. So last thing, I do this every morning. I think it's good. I think a lot of us do here in the room, and you probably do it every morning. When you wake up, you can do 5 minutes of meditation, but plan your day out, write it down. It'll help you focus, and stick to it. All right. So that's the 10 steps to building big revenue, and we're going to run through a couple of these things because I want to get to the business process questions or discovery questions. With Office 365, you have a lot of different types of products and services that you can utilize when you're going out there, and just Office Delve, Office Graph, Office 365. Business intelligence, all these different types of products and features. And you can always get the access to this PowerPoint on PLG Power. It's in the links that we send you out. But those are just some feature sets. All right, let's quickly get into business discovery. I know we're flying through this, but what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about, what are business discovery questions? What are going to help you as a partner when you're talking to your client, help you strategically put yourself in the position where more about the organization than almost maybe they know, but you put yourself in a different situation than the other people that are bidding for those services. So open-ended versus closed-ended. It's very simple. A lot of partners make the mistake of asking a lot of closed-ended questions, such as, are you happy with your current provider? Do you think you need a refresh on your Office or your Office products? Do you need a proposal today? Or, there's the ones that are just going to get a yes, no. Instead, you want to come up with open-ended questions, the questions that are going to help your client actually talk about their business, because you want to move away from being the reactive, I can fix everything, to more about how can I help them become more efficient and more profitable with business processes. So your first appointment, and I think I was listening last Thursday, and I'll give credit where credit is due. Your first appointment is about listening. I think our good friend Fred Bauerfeld from KME Systems says his very first appointment is really just about listening to what they have going on, and he's not really selling anything. And I think that's a really great part about consultative selling. I think that's the way you have to listen, you have to ask a lot of open-ended questions, and you're really there to learn about their business processes. You're there to learn things such as, tell me a little bit about how your departments collaborate and work together. That's an open-ended question, right? Ask about meeting and vendors. Say, how do your meetings and vendors work together? How do you guys collaborate? What is the security behind sending proposals? So what are the steps that you put in place to secure your network? Open-ended things like that. And lastly, I think Michelle Hollis said this from Sixth Street Consulting. What keeps you up at night? I think that was Michelle. I don't know if that, I think, yes, it was Michelle. Good. All right. Credit Michelle. What keeps you up at night? Great question. Let them throw up on you and tell you, like, oh yeah, this is what's terrible about what's going on. Talk about, how do they work mobily? Or, can you tell me about your thoughts on your T&E expenses? How much do they cost and whatnot? So these are business discovery questions that are really going to help you formulate what you're doing. All right. Next, partner action items. Hey, so we're trying to grow this call even bigger, and we're going to need some executive sponsorship to help us do that, because we need some help. I can't keep doing this every single week. 36 slides is a lot of work. So what I'm looking for you, for the partners that are on this call to help us out here, we're trying to gauge impact on this call, whether you like it or you don't like it, right? And so I was wondering if you could do us a big favor and send an email on your thoughts on this call, or even better, record an office mix, a testimony of some sort on the call and why you think it's good or why you attended. And what we're going to do is that we're actually going to pick some of these and play them or read them out next week, and actually have a killer prize, for the person who's got the best one. But we're going to use these to, hopefully get executive sponsorship to provide more resources down the line. Lastly, who is eGen? If you don't know who she is, you need to. She's our inside tele business development manager. If you can't get a hold of me, eGen is the best. And we love all the work that she does. You can always reach her at v-ejon@microsoft.com. All right, Project Lead Gen next steps. We're wrapping this up here. Very simple. If you're new to the call, you're hearing about MCC, you're hearing about Project Lead Gen, what we need you to do is click on the link, ready to go, /PLG, download the resources and watch the videos. It's 47 minutes of your life, okay, to show you how you can build a big, strong, high revenue, high activity type of business for yourself utilizing Microsoft Communications and Project Lead Gen. All right, to summarize this all up, thank you so much for coming. We've talked about, Manish, and we had our special guest. We had Justin, who was doing some brainstorming, how to build a business. We talked about 10 steps to drive, sales and revenue with Office 365. We got to some business discovery questions. We really covered a lot. So I want to say, thank you to Manish. Thank you to Justin Slagle for attending this. I want to kind of give it back to Manish real quick. We really appreciate all his effort. And just want to say, Manish, what are your last thoughts here, or maybe you want to tell them if to contact you. I know that you do a lot of partnering. I want to give it to you just for a few minutes.
No, I mean, the opportunity is exciting, and we are still in the new, at the start of the new cloud environment, and Microsoft has been doing great. So we are very excited to adopt the new products which is out there, like Office 365 and Dynamics 365. And with MCC, we are just looking to partners. So reach out to me, and also on MCC if you have any questions. So looking forward to partner or do some events together. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, hey, next week, we're going to be doing another one. I'm going to send out the, make sure you go to the PLG Reg to register for the next week's event. We're going to have some of the crew here. We're going to be expanding the show a little bit, but we really look forward to it. And please send us your feedback. We really could use it. It'll help us drive executive sponsorship here at Microsoft. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to the MTC and the folks here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.